My mic keeps falling.
Oh.
I don't know why.
You gotta tighten up the...
I don't know, because if I turn something, everything's gonna fall. I can feel it already. Anyway, hi.
How you doing?
We're doing, right? What? It's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
How's your week going?
Almost to Friday.
I know. Bring that energy. Go, girl.
Yeah.
You know, do you ever feel like, because we record on Saturdays, like I feel like we only get like a 1 day break sometimes? Do you ever feel like that?
Oh, like on the weekend?
Yeah. I know. Sometimes I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired.
Yeah. Well, that's how I was like, it would be good like for us to break it up sometimes and do it during the week. Yeah. Because when we were like the couple times we recorded during the week, we record so much faster too.
We do record faster.
And I think it's because it's like, you know, it's a Saturday, we're like chilling, but we don't realize like
the time flies.
Yeah.
I know, because we didn't get started, you know.
Yeah.
But
later.
Yeah. But I feel like we do more on Saturdays though. Like we don't record like any content on during the week. Yeah. We just like literally talk and get out. Yeah. I don't even touch the like after this I'll like, you know, do some tech stuff, but I don't even touch it during the week. Unless I have to, if it's like due the next day. You know? Yeah. Like that day I wouldn't have touched it. I would just walked out of the room.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's up, guys?
So yeah, I think that this like came to us the other day. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, you know, asking someone, you know, how they're doing or you know, like what's going on. I think that it's normal, right? We always like know what we're gonna hear, like, oh, I'm okay, you know, like, oh, things are okay, you know, things are going good. But I think that especially like now, you know, with like everything going on, we just don't know like how people's mental health like states are and how things are going like in other people's lives. So I think that we kind of have to create that like moment in our brain to like realize that like someone might say like, hey, no, I'm not okay, like, you know, like, or things are not going good right now. And it's like, I think that it's like, as much as it will be like a shock, like you know, like what do you say to someone like who responds like that? But I think that we need to normalize, right, that it's okay to not be okay and be honest, right? Because you never know who you can encounter to help you, you know, think differently or give you advice. Yeah.
I think as somebody who like asks a lot, I feel like if people are okay, I never know like if there's a better question. Yeah. You know, like I don't know. Sometimes I'm always like, because I know something, it's not, things aren't okay. Yeah. So asking, are you okay, is not normally, like, I know it's not a good question because obviously, and then I feel like people feel like they have to respond like, oh yeah, I'm okay. Okay. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So I always wonder what's a different form of asking, like, you know, I mean, I guess you could ask like, how are you? Or, but then I also feel like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes
maybe like, how are things going?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's hard. Like, like it's hard to like beat around that, like, and pull out that honesty, right? Yeah. Like if they're not open to being honest.
Yeah, because I think for me personally, like I do ask with intention of not expecting to hear, yeah, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. So like I don't like getting that response because even though if you are like okay, sometimes it's like I want to know more. So I guess it's about asking better questions too. But yeah,
more of like open-ended questions and not just like you know,
like a straight
yes or no.
Yeah, that's true.
Good or not good, you know.
Yeah. I think it's like,
I think it just makes it awkward on both sides, right? Like, because it's like, I don't, like, you're asking me, like, how am I doing or if I'm okay, and it's like, do you really want to, like, dump the load on, like, everything that's going on in your head onto this person? Because what if they're not, you know what I mean? Like, asking it with intentions, and they're just like, you know what? Like, you know, just asking just to be kind.
No, yeah. I mean, I get
so
that,
I think too. That's hard to distinguish, too.
I think, though, it's healthy, though, to be able to dump things on. And I know, like, everybody has their thresholds because there's times where, at least, like, in our group chat and stuff, like, I don't ask whether or not you guys are, like, in a space to receive, like, all of my whatever, but I just dump it anyway.
Me either,
yeah, but because it's a safe space for us.
Right.
So it's, like, and I don't care about just going in there and being like, guys, like, this is what's going on, whatever. And sometimes it's even hard to do that. Like, sometimes you second guess yourself or whatever. But, like, I think I want to start asking, like, more meaningful questions, not just like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
I think.
I agree. I think that's just, I think that it's just like, sometimes I think, for me, for instance, I think it's just like, how can you, because I get this question a lot at work.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like, hey, like, so I think about, too, like, the environment. It's like, no, I'm not okay today, but, like, I don't want to tell you that I'm not okay today because we're at work and I know you're asking with good intentions, and it's just easier to be like, I'm okay,
Yeah.
Versus if it's coming from somebody on, like, a personal level. And granted, like, I know, like, people at work, there's like a group of people who mean it with, like, well intentions.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I think, like, for me, I'm already a hot ass mess at work. Like, I don't need to dump my work, my personal life at you too. Like, and just, like, share with you what the hell is going on, or, like, what I'm feeling. So
yeah,
I don't like to.
I'm big on, like, words, and I used to be so guilty of calling myself, like, a baby whale because, I'm a little bit chubby. And I remember, like, one of my coworkers was, like, very uncomfortable with me, and she was like, stop saying that, like.
With you saying that?
Yeah, she was like, stop saying that because you're not. And then, obviously I part of my coaching experience is learning about the power of words and the power of language, and how, like, every time you say something to yourself, self-talk, every time you say something to yourself that's negative, you're going to start believing it and start, like, envisioning yourself as that, and like, you're not a hot ass mess, like, there's, like, you're not. So stop saying that. That was the moral of that. But yeah, like, try to be kinder to. We always talk about being kind to other people, but be kind to yourself too, in the sense of, like, it's, you're not, like,
No, yeah, and that's, like, one of the, like, one time I did, like, open up to one of my coworkers, and she that was one of her big thing. I wish I had my work phone, because actually what she wrote me that day was, like, super cute. But she was saying, like, definitely you need to, like, be more kind to yourself, like, take that moment to be able to, like, have that, like, self-care, and, like, do things for you that make you feel good, and know that, like, you don't always have to make other people feel good, like, So I was like, sorry.
I think it comes really so nice. Natural, especially in you, to be like, to bring the energy. I feel like you're just one of those people that just comes and you're just this person, right? Yeah. So, like, regardless, and I feel like it's hard for you to see it, but regardless of whether or not you're having, a not so great day, a bad day, or whatever, I think you still give off, like, a certain energy. So I think you need to just, like, live in whatever you're feeling, and it'll, you're still gonna give off a good, like, you'll still give off good energy. Yeah. Oh. I'm into, like, human design, so that's your design type is, like, what says that about you. But I've always felt like that about you. Yeah, you're the Beyonce girl, don't worry.
I love that. Yeah. Can we quote that?
You're the Beyonce. Yeah, be the Beyonce of your own life. I actually loved the quote that I said last week. That's why I had to turn it into a post.
Which one?
Oh, just because you don't see the magic doesn't mean it's not there. I love that.
Yeah.
There were a few, though. People were writing us like, oh, this is another good quote from that episode.
Really?
Like, are you guys quoting us? There was one. I forget where
I love that.
It was posted. I think on Facebook. Somebody commented and was like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cute. That's my favorite thing to do, guys. Just letting you know, like, listening back to the episode and, like, pulling out, like, quotes that we say, because you don't realize in the moment, like, some of the good things that, like, we actually are saying, and sometimes, like, I think when we're here, it just feels like we're just chatting, and then you listen back and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, because I think people are like, do you listen to your own podcast? And I'm like, yeah, not just for the listens, but I like to go back and listen to, like, there's times where I go back and I'm like, okay, I can tell I was in a scattered mindset during the episode. Like, I can tell that I was either overly excited. Remember the cheer episode? I was I was so debating of posting that episode because I was so embarrassed with how much I spoke. Yeah. Because, when I listened back to it, I was, like, mortified. But, then other people were writing to me and they were like, oh, thank you for being so passionate in the way you spoke about it. And
it was super passionate.
Bringing the energy. And I'm like, I didn't look at it like that. Yeah. But, yeah, I love listening back and just hearing, like, the wisdom that we do bring. And now I like to listen as an audience member and feel, like, what our audience is feeling. Yeah. Of course, for us, it's a little different because we know, like, what situations we're, like, alluding to and all that stuff. But, yeah. Yep. Anyway, the power of powerful questions, asking intentional questions. Yeah. That's important, too.
Yeah. And I think just, like, checking in with intentions, right? Like, make sure, like, when you do ask someone, you know, if they're okay or how they're doing, like, be prepared for them to be like, hey, like, I'm not okay, you know, like, and I think that being honest, right, with people who are asking you, it can be uncomfortable, but, like, hey, like, talk about it, and I think like it could be helpful.
One of the follow-up questions that I love, I feel like I always try to ask it, is what do you need then? Yeah. Because instead of saying, like, what can I do for you? Because a lot of people like to not turn things around, but people don't realize that you are making it about yourself then, because you're, like, almost asking what can I do for you as, like, a good deed or something, right? Like, it kind of feels like that to the person receiving. Right. I always try to ask, well, what do you need right now? Like, that's one of my favorite follow-up questions, because it's, like, it just makes the person think, like, what is it that I need, and what will make me feel either better or what will allow me to feel a little bit more relief than what I'm feeling now. So that's, like, one of my favorite questions.
Love that.
Yeah, but just be mindful that people are just experiencing life every day. There's everyday triggers. It's so crazy how, like, when you go from, like, a kid to this transition into adulthood, that's just, like, real life. And I mean, there is some sort of, like, innocence when you're a child to, like, now where it's like this is just reality, and you didn't realize how crazy it was, right? Back then.
It's like, it's a big transition, right? Like, with no playbook of, like, hey, this is how it is, this is what life is. Yeah, it's kind of just like, here you go.
Yeah, like,
welcome
to the hood. Adulthood. So I don't know, be kind to one another. I feel like that's always the biggest message on our show. And if you're gonna ask somebody if they're okay, just be ready to, you know, be there. Don't expect people to be okay. Yeah. You know?
Right. Love that.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome closing.
All right, guys. Well,
until next time.
See you guys next week. Bye.